Hi, good morning. In this opportunity, I'm going to speak about the fall of the Roman Empire. This is an event that changed the world. Now, I'm going to start with my presentation. For 450 years, the Roman Empire uninterruptedly ruled a territory that stretched from Hadrian's Wall to the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The Roman Empire was achieved thanks to the Roman legions that, in addition to great combat strategies, also had the ability to build infrastructure. This made it possible to have a more permanent and extensive dominati- domination. Yeah, the power resided in the military legions and their discipline. However, brute force is not enough to keep the empire stable for so many centuries. A foreign policy based on well-oriented diplomacy was also applied. The Roman state, which, according to Max Weber, is the only instance that has a monopoly on the legitimate use of physical force, was responsible for enforcing this right through the army, that is, brute force. As for the faculties of the emperor, in theory, he was the supreme authority in relation to the promulgation of laws, relegating the jurisconsults of Roman law to the background. He had the privilege to modify or break the law. He could pass death sentences and grant pardon. In appearance, he would resemble an absolute monarch. Each emperor had a well-defined geographical area of operation. The emperor in the army or bureaucracy had to keep each other happy. Bureau, bureaucrats controlled the economy and were involved in legislative process such as enacting laws. For its part, the army fully constituted the, the fact power of the emperor and very charge of enforcing the laws. Both generals and bureaucrats gave gave the go-ahead and ratified the emperor's successors. Next. Harassed by internal and external problems and seeing the beginning of the end, Emperor Theodosius separated the empire into two parts in 395, the Western Empire and the Eastern Empire, in the secret hope that at least one of the two have survived the coming chaos. A civil war broke out on December 31, 406 after of Christ. No. Yes. The Vandals, subs, and Alans crossed the abandoned borders of the empire and opposed it. The following year, the situation became so desperate that Roman troops evacuated Britannia to avoid being cut off from the rest of the empire. In the year 410, Alaric savagely sacked Rome for 3 days, marking the first time in 800 years that a foreign army had taken the Eternal City. Finally, the empire had been torn apart at the hands of those who should defend it. The Romans themselves had brought the enemy into the house due to their own inability to defend themselves. The barbarian invaders were not the cause of the fall of Rome, since they could never have put an end to a stable organized and dynamic empire. The Roman Empire committed suicide with its internal crisis. The barbarians only took advantage of the occasions to seize land full of wealth. The fall of Rome put an end to the ancient world, and the Middle Age were born. Today, we can only see the ruins of this great empire that once shook kingdoms. Although only a few today can speak Latin, it is part of our language and the of basics of the Romance language of French, Italian, and Spanish. Our legal system is based on Roman law. Many modern European cities were founded by Rome. Our knowledge of Greece comes through Rome and many other lasting effects as well. Rome had fallen, but it had been for so long one of the truly global cities in history. And that's all about my presentation about about the Roman Empire, the fall of the Roman Empire. I hope you like it. Thank you for your attention. Bye bye.